Mistborn. This year I've set myself the task of reading all of Mistborn, including Saga 2, hopefully, but these three books have been on my to-read list for probably about a year since I finished on my archive. And I thought I'd take you along for the journey. Some quick sort of rules. So as I go along the vlog, I will be telling you what page number I'm on, so you can bow out at any point if you want to. However, I'm also going to avoid major spoilers through the main part of the vlog, and I will save them for right at the end of the video for the post-read discussion. Oh, this is so hard to get up. Let's get started. It is currently Friday night, and we don't have anyone over tonight, so random free evening. Jack's upstairs playing Elden Ring, and I was trying to get through some more of this chunker, and I really wanted to get it out of the way before I started Mistborn, but I still got that much left. And I need a break from this for a bit. I feel like I could have been happy. I would have been happy if it finished at 400 pages. But I just need a little break. So, what am I gonna do in this extra time? Well, I am gonna finally start Mistborn. Ugh. Oh. Hi, Bobby. So here it is. I'm very excited. This has been on the horizon for a while now. So I'm really excited to finally make a start. Especially seeing as I think the Sanderson Kickstarter finished today. And I've been watching a lot of Sanderson's lectures for Camp Nano, so the timing feels right. So I'm going to chill for a bit and get through it. Hopefully I've done a proper intro to this, and if I have, I will cut here. So we have jumped ahead a few days. It is now Wednesday. I haven't done that much reading. I'm only on page 61. Not far through, but that's because I've had NaNoWriMo. I've been finishing off Wind Up Bird Chronicle, which is now finished, so that's the way. And I had a beta reading job to do, so that's finished as well. I've cleared the decks, so hopefully I can ramp things up a bit, unless I really get into my writing. So I've just got to the part where Kelsier meets Vin for the first time. So still very early on. Kelsier really strikes me as like Sanderson going, I'm gonna make a cool character. This is a character you're gonna like. Just trust me. And Vin, I don't really know what to think about Vin yet. Vin yet. She's very regular fantasy teenage protagonist at the moment. Yeah, enjoying it so far. Just been introduced to a bit of a tiny little taste of the magic system. So looking forward to seeing more of that. See you when I've read a little bit more. Bobby has decided to just be in the way today, haven't you? Oh no! Hello, a time skip has happened. My hair has been refreshed a little bit. Don't know if you can notice. Due to a family loss, I've actually put the vlog on hold for a few weeks. So the last time you saw me in this video was probably about 5 weeks ago. But I'm back on it. I've got the book ready. I only read it a little bit between then and now. So I'm 150 pages in at the moment. So not far in still. So I'm gonna sit down, put some time into it, and see how far I can get today. So that'll be fun. And I've got my tea. Strawberry lemonade, this one. That's a fruit tea. Yep. Yep, they all have a similar taste to them, don't they, fruit teas? I've just recorded and edited another video this morning to do my monthly wrap up. And there's a bunch of other videos I want to do because I took a break for so long. But I really want to get back to Mistborn, so let's get back to it. Okay, so I've just got to the end of part 1. And all of Vin. The whole bit I just read is just her dealing with the fact that she's actually around a nice person for once. She's got all of these like traits that she's taken on because she's just used to being abused or ignored, or just used to having nothing. So, you know, Kelsey notices that she just tries to make herself really small in any position, tries not to be seen, and she gets given some food, and she's like sneaking bits of it away, but then by the end of the conversation she walks away and leaves them behind, and it kind of surprises her. Oh, so I think she's getting used to being around good people who will help her out and give her a share of money and feed her and look after her. And, so yeah, that's cute. We just had some family around, so I have nabbed a couple of books. Thrillers is something I fancy every so often, so just thought I'd take it. And this came up in a recent video, so I was kind of after a sort of fun fact non-fiction-y book. I was trying to get rid of this. Just started a phone call. Oh, bye! Literally, the moment I hit record, Jack starts a phone call. Bobby just barges in. So, I am 310 pages in. So I've just after part 2. I'm loving it. Loving it so much. So it definitely switched from just enjoying it to, yeah, I'm loving this now. So what have I had? So I think the last time I spoke, it was Finn still really getting used to things, but during the bits that I've read, she's really grown into herself, and she's still growing, but she's now jumping around, flying around, using the metal bending. Yeah, the Allomancy is really, really interesting. I kind of heard of what the power was before, but to kind of hear what the breakdowns of the different metals do is really cool. And for some reason, I don't think I expected so many other people in the world to have it. So you have most people have not most people. So the Allomancy is something it's still quite rare, and it tends to be nobles that has it, I think, and the average person who has an ability tends to have the ability with one type of metal, but Mistborns can use all of them. So at this moment in time, there's just Kelsey and Vin, the two main characters that are Mistborn. So there's still extra special people. But seeing her grow and starting to learn the abilities has been really cool. What have we had? I also forgot about... So something I had read last time that I forgot to mention was meeting the... Oh, what was it called? But meeting the weird creature that's sort of like... Is it a mist wraith? I think it might be. These weird creatures that sort of like live outside the city in the mists. But they're not what I would have expected at all. They're these weird creatures with different bits of animal shoved together. So it just sounded really weird and not what I expected. So I'd be interested if we get kind of more story about those. But for now, that's just like we saw it and now we've moved on. So a lot of the stuff that I've been reading was Vin training and then getting used to pretending to be a noblewoman. So we're about to, she's just attended her second ball. The idea is that she's there to spy on people. You know, that's the best role that she has at the moment. And oh my god, Elend? Yeah, Elend. I love Elend. So there's this nobleman that she meets at the first ball who's ignoring everyone, reading a book, relatable. And she gets chatting to him, and you know, she clearly quite likes the guy. And then she mentions him when she gets back to the rest of the gang to find out that he's like heir to one of the houses. So even within noble society, he's high up there. So they're like, no, stay away from him. Because the idea was that she was someone who would be sort of semi-ignored. Maybe she'd get a few dances, so she wouldn't be showing off. You know, the idea is to not draw too much attention to herself. So like, no. If he pulls you into his world, you're gonna get too much attention on you. So they really did tell her to ignore her. And then naturally, the second ball, he just plunks himself down at her table. Love it. And he's just. This is why I love Sanderson. He just has that ability to write lovable characters. So if you're a character-driven reader, or if you're someone who really needs a character to sort of adore, you know, if you're the kind of person who's like, I wish I could give them a hug, Brandon Sanderson has a lot of characters that you will want to hug. So, but one bit in this just like was so funny. So they're sort of like they start like bickering almost. So she's just kind of said that she's now started telling people that she sees him like an older brother. He's just like there to look after her, so that other men and other boys will start like taking her, like choosing her for dances. Like she doesn't want other people scared away. So. Older brother, Elend asked, frowning. Much older, Vin said, smiling. I mean, you've got to be at least twice my age. Twice your... Valet, I'm 21. Unless you're a very mature 10-year-old, I'm nowhere near twice your age. Like, the fact that she's annoyed him back is just fantastic. Oh, I love it. Yeah, it's... so good. And yeah, I'm into this now. I'm really into this. And we've also had a unexpected attempt at getting into like the Lord Ruler's castle's not the right word, I'm gonna say castle. Into his palace. That went terribly wrong. Kelsey kind of thought, oh, if we were caught last time we did this, because we planned for months and news got to the Lord Ruler. So if I don't plan, if I just go for it, then I've got a better chance. And Vin follows him, and he seems to think that she's not going to give in, and so decides to take her along. Bad idea. And we've also heard little bits and pieces about the Lord Ruler, about how, like, hearing how his sort of immortality works. You know, there's a reference to him being burned down to a skeleton and then being back in like 2 seconds. So interested to... I wonder if we'll get to see the Lord Ruler in this one. I'm not sure. And I also hope that Elend doesn't turn out to be a dick. I really like him. This is going to be one of the bits of like this whole section will age poorly. But yes, I'm loving it. So I will definitely be reading more today. And I'm really trying to make some headway with this because I'm sick of seeing it on my shelf. I need to get through it. It's just very hard and dense. But anyway, yes, back to Mistborn.
Don't know if you can hear that bird. Well, I'm nearly 500 pages in, so I've done nearly 200 pages, I think, since the last update. Still loving it. Now I don't know whether to get into spoilers or just kind of share how I feel about it. Bird is loud and distracting. So something funny I had to do because I had a bit of a break after starting it. So I was maybe 100 and something pages in when I took a break for about a month. It didn't affect things too badly, other than not having a clear picture in my head of what certain characters look like. I'd forgotten that Kelsier is blonde, for starters. And then some of the main crew, so I kind of looked at some descriptions whilst trying to avoid spoilers because I realised if I went to a wiki about the character, it would then explain everything to me. So thankfully, there was a post on Reddit that just had some snippets of descriptions, which was helpful. I'm loving it. It's great. So I won't be too spoilery. When I kind of shortly after where I last spoke, there was a bit of a loss, a bit of a falter in the plan. But Kelsey has sort of wound it back up, and they're still fighting the good fight. I'm really surprised that my favourite scenes at the moment are all of the ballroom scenes. Like, I would not have pictured that. I thought I'd be just waiting for the next sort of bit of Alamancy, getting to read about them just flying through the city. Those bits are really cool. I will say I think the way that Branson describes action definitely had improved by the time he did Stormlight. But it's still great here. And it is fun, but those ballroom scenes, they're so much fun, and I think part of that is because Vin herself is starting to really enjoy them, and also Ellen Man, like he's clearly like still a bit of a upper class moron. Like he doesn't get it, but he still wants to make good changes in the world, which is cool. And it's really interesting to see Vin kind of. She clearly loves the guy. And she wants to sort of defend him a bit, and she wants to think the absolute best of him. But she's sort of been warned about getting too close, warned about sort of what the noblemen are like. And she is starting to see that he's not perfect in some ways, but she's still seeing the good in him, and is maybe holding some things back am protecting him a little bit, so interested to see how that goes. I've just seen that the next chapter is at his sort of house's place. So things might be about to pop off. I don't know if I'll have any other breaks to update on how I'm feeling. I wouldn't be surprised if how much is left? Got 140. I might be able to finish this tomorrow. Maybe. We'll see. See how tired I am. Love it. So I just got back from town where I've been sitting, having some lunch, getting a coffee, and writing. I am up to 63,500 words. So because I had to pause NaNoWriMo, basically 10 days in, I have decided to carry on where I left off. And my aim is to get my current project up to 90,000 words. So I've sort of set up my own goal page to keep me motivated. So this chart just tracks the overall word count, and then this one is counting like the daily word count. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I'm definitely going to use this template again. But I think I'm done with this for the day, which means I can finally go back to this. I am that far in. Look how much I gotta go. Yeah, I think I'm probably gonna finish this today. It's time to go out again. Oh. Was it colder than you thought it would be? And I am done. So, other than the month-long break that I took in the middle, I ran through this very quickly. I think once I hit the 150 page mark, I fell in love and I was getting through so many pages every day. I think on the last day I definitely did about 150 pages. And those last 150 pages were so good. So if you've not heard the term, I'm about to say it wrong probably, but with Brandon Sanderson books, there's something called a Sanderson lunch, a Sander lunch, something like that, because he has a way of just having these roller coaster endings that are crazy. And I love them because it's the only time as an adult reader so far where I've just wanted to keep turning the page, and I can't. I find it very hard to put it down. And in fact, that's continued so much that since finishing this, so I finished this like 4 or 5 days ago. I've just not had the time to sit down and record this. But since finishing, I've been so desperate to start the next one. And I've only had that feeling with Sanderson as an adult. I used to get it all the time as a teenager, get really invested in a book.
So I think my challenge after reading these will be to find another author and another series where I have that feeling, because it can't just be Sanderson. So I know people say that Sanderson has simple prose, and I think a lot of people put that as a negative. And if you're someone who really enjoys gorgeous, pretty prose, that's fine. I understand that. But I think people forget that it, in a weird way, it can be a positive, especially with Stormlight, because those ones were like 1,200-page books. They're massive, and they're obviously so intimidating for so many people. And I think a lot of non-readers or casual readers don't want to commit to that. But if you tell them that, hey, it's actually an easy read, you actually get through those pages pretty quickly, then you might get to change their minds. And so having something that's an easy read for that long, I think really helps, especially when there's so many other good areas of Sanderson's writing. So with Mistborn, though, I will say I definitely have seen the progression in Sanderson's writings. I've seen the progression in his writing, especially when it comes to action. So something I praised about Stormlight, and it's probably the one thing that got me invested really quickly, is how he writes action. Everything is so clear. You can picture every action that the character is taking. In Stormlight, in the first Stormlight, you know where the armies are moving. You could picture it so clearly in your head. And I think with Mistborn, he wasn't quite there yet. That's not to say the action scenes are bad. It's just that they're a little bit less clear, but still probably better than a lot of other writers, I would say. So there's that. And characters. Brandon Sanderson is writing my favourite characters at the moment. I mean, I think Kelsier is a character who's clearly designed to be the cool guy. He's the cool guy that shows up and just knows what he's doing. And so you love that he is like a good thief and he knows what he's doing and he's got all these plots and plans. But then there's this darkness to him. He really hates the Lord Ruler, as a lot of people do, but he also blames the noblemen for what they've done to the Scar, who are the sort of like servant/slave class of this world, to the point where he is very happy to kill them and kill as many as he needs or wants to. So I think I was a little bit surprised at how murder happy he was, to the point where even the other characters in the book see this as a little bit of a problem, and they do worry about him. So that was a little bit of a surprise, but it fits for this world, and it's great to add this darkness to a character who will come in and make jokes. Really adds this kind of creepy depth to him. And Vin, so she starts very much as normal fantasy teen protagonist, maybe one who's been through even harsher conditions than the average. She's learnt to stay small, stay out of the way, do what she can to avoid being beaten. She has lived a life around having to be part of these sort of criminal gangs and groups, whilst also never trusting anyone in those groups and never making friends, because people will betray you, and that's what she's brought up. So this is really her journey of learning to be around people who are nice and learning that she will be looked after by these people, and that's something that she really struggles with. But seeing the change in her once she learns that, and then goes the completely opposite way and has to pretend to be a noblewoman, and then sort of getting used to the niceties of like the fancy life, because even when she's not attending balls, she has to keep up appearances and still act the noblewoman a lot of the times. And it's so funny seeing her start to enjoy this, and it's really sweet. So the growth for Vin is just so good to see. I'm really interested to see where she goes in the next book. Now, let's get into spoilers. I think I've probably said what I want to say through the vlog, so this is now full book spoilers. You've been warned. If you've lasted this long and you're gonna leave now, that's fine. See you later. See you in the next video. But it's time to talk about the ending and a lot of the questions I have. I had to write stuff down because, oh my god, so much happens. I had so many thoughts in my head at the end. Marsh as an Inquisitor, like, oh my god. That was something I did not see coming, and him knowing how to take out the other Inquisitors was so cool. It really was a high stakes moment. Vin is surrounded by these like ultimate level bad guys, these Mistborn. Like, even then without the Lord Ruler, you know, she's screwed. But then suddenly one appears and he's on her side, and it's Marsh. Oh my god. So now to have someone who's been turned into an Inquisitor on their side is so crazy. Yeah, and I want to see where that goes. The last scene with Vin going to Elend, like I know some people have criticised Samson for his romance, and I think that's completely fair. I think if you're someone who's into a romance, I don't think the way he builds them up would be adequate. But here, I mean, for example, in Stormlight, yeah, there's not a lot of on-screen romance, I think, between Adlin and I say Shallan. I'm sorry, I know it's Shallan, but Shallan. I felt like the one with Elend and Vin was a bit better because there was a bit more banter. And even though there wasn't a massive amount of time between them, I think there was enough there to see where that led, and I was satisfied with it. So the last scene where she nearly walks away from him and then decides to drop in on him to say hi. Oh, so cute. I love it. And speaking of Elend, I really like the fact that he's a side character. And he's important to a point, but he never really outshines the main cast. You know, he's kind of in a funny position where he's a nobleman and he knows things aren't right and he wants to fix them, but he doesn't want to do anything as drastic as everyone else. But when a revolution starts, he kind of sees the chance to help them and goes for it. And they kind of see that maybe he's got a point and he might be a good person to put in charge, because none of them really want to be in charge of whatever happens after all of this. So I kind of like that he had a part to play, but it's not, he never kind of showed up and just saves the day. Like, even when he goes and saves Vin, he then needs her help to get out again, or, you know, she still sends him off while she carries on. You know, he's not quite a knight in shining armor. He doesn't really fall into that trope, which I really, really liked. Kelsier, I had a feeling he might die. I did suspect. So it didn't come out of nowhere, but man, that ending, I was so sad. And then revealing that that was his plan, and that he'd set things up for them perfectly. There's so many things that were mentioned and dropped through the book, and I think that there was payoff for pretty much everything. Vin kept going, you still got secrets. You're still hiding something. And her suspicious mind, she's really worried what that is. But there's great payoff for that. It's fantastic. And the 11th metal. I was really worried it would be like, the 11th metal is hope. And like, it kind of was, but there was also an actual 11th metal. So I'm glad. So they're my thoughts about what happened. Now, these are all the questions I have in my head. What is the darkness? What happened with the Lord Ruler? So we get this twist, because we get these little diary entries, and we think the diary entries are from the Lord Ruler, or at least I thought that. I think you're supposed to think that. Because it's written from the point of view of someone who is like the prophesized hero. And I think there's an assumption that he'll turn, because he keeps saying, oh, if I abuse my power, blah, blah, blah. But then he keeps referring to this guy who hates him. And it turns out the Lord Ruler is the guy that hates him. But there's references to the Well of Ascension, and the darkness that he defeated. That's very much a part of the lore of the Lord Ruler. There's murals, stained glass windows that depict him defeating it, but no one really knows what it is. So I really hope we get more on that, and I'm pretty sure we will. The next book's called The Well of Ascension, so hopefully we will get some answers. Interested to see what else we'll see from Allomancy in general. I know that there's a new book for the second era coming out called The Lost Metal. So I think we're just going to see a bit more and more creativity from it. I think Sanderson is very good at setting out these strict rules and then seeing what you can do with it. It's very much very similar to Avatar: The Last Airbender. You kind of start thinking, oh, someone can just move some water around. That's pretty cool. And then actually, as time goes on, you see how creative people could be with that. And it sort of becomes limitless. So the Allomancy was very much like that. You think you kind of know the deal, push and pull to kind of fly around the air or move metal objects. But then, as it progresses, the way Kelsier and Vin use it is so interesting, and I'm really excited to see more. And then also figure out what the other metals do that we were learning about. So I'm sure we'll figure out what the 11th metal is. The mist. What is? I don't know if you can make. I've cleaned this humidifier, air diffuser out. I don't even think you can see it that well. I should have done this at the start of the video. The mist. What is the connection between the mist and Allomancy and Mistborn? There's something else there, definitely. There's something we're going to learn. Oh, the mist race. So, I think I said during the vlog, that we saw this mist wraith, this weird creature that's taken on these different limbs of different creatures. And then at the end, the guy who's been pretending to be Lord Renault turns out to be a sort of mist wraith, because he then takes on Kelsier's form. And it's a bit creepy. So there must be more to learn about them. What is the difference between one that is just like an animal monster outside the city and one that can behave like an actual person? So interested to see what happens there. And my other question is, are we going to get any more magic systems? Because it was a surprise to me to learn about... oh god, what's his name? He's going to kill me if I don't remember his name. Sazed? I kept it in my head, I said Sazed. So I'll stick with that. So Sazed ferrochemy? The idea of still using metals, but in a completely different way to allomancy. Storing up things in the metals, like strength or age or memories. So I am wondering if we'll get like another metal-themed power from another set of people. Not sure. It'll be cool to see if we do though. Well, I think that about covers it. This was such a joy. I don't know yet if I will do vlogs for the other two. Kind of depends on if this video does well or not. Because honestly, a part of me just wants to start the next one now and race through it. But I promised myself I'd finish off reading at least one other book before I do that. So we'll see. If you want to see it, comment below. That's the way to get things done. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. This has been a pleasure. And whether or not Mistborn 2 is the next vlog, I'm definitely going to do another one. This is a lot of fun. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!